Hello guys, I'm making this video just to show off all the different TMNT custom figures that I have made. Some are handmade, most of them are 3D printed. um, as you can see, there are several different themes. Some are just 3D prints of hard to find figures repainted in my style. Some are original designs. Some are ones that I took inspiration from other customs that I saw online, and I just thought that it will be easier to make a video instead of posting 40 pictures. So let's start from the back. I think it's better. The easier ones, the ones that you will recognize, of course, the Universal Monsters figures. These have basically the same articulation that the vintage ones, except for the legs. The legs are swivel. The mutant Ruff is hard to find on the vintage line. Leonardo from the Back Lagoon. I really like this one. And Invisible Michelangelo. Of course, this is the harder to find when you're looking original figures. This is the harder to find from the Universal Monsters line. So I decided to make myself one. Actually, this is the one for which I started making the Universal Monsters. This is an original design that I made. It's fully 3D printed. It has vintage style articulation. Then we have two that you may also know: the dwarf Donatello and I think this is Savage Leo. That's the name. These are 3D prints. Of course, you can see there are some color differences from the original ones, but these two, I basically made them so that they can be next to my original design. Well, this is not original design. This one I made based on I think it was a drawing and a prototype figure from a book, Raphael the Elf. And while I was making Raphael the Elf, I didn't thought this, because this doesn't look very cool, to be honest. It looked like I don't know, like a Santa elf. It doesn't really look like Raphael at all. So I decided to give him some kind of a cooler image. This is Link, Raphael, the hero of time, or the hero of the sewers, as you want to call him. I don't have his weapons, but this one has two master size. These two are prototypes. That's why you may see some fails, like I have to repair the neck on this one. These two are the first one that I print. After this, I correct the mistakes, but of course those ones are right now with a client of mine that bought them. Now the set is not complete. I'm still pending to make Michelangelo as a knight. I think you have already seen, you may find some other Mike as a knight online. I think they basically did the same that I did, that they look for some concept art and prototype figures and they made them. I'm planning on to make my own version, just like I make with Raph. I'm planning to give it a little twist. Now the next one I want to show is my last running. This is my first original design that I made for Ninja Turtles. I made this before Playmates even announced it. They were going to make one. I think this is the first. Um, it's not the first last running figure because there were other handmade ones before this one, but this is certainly the first 3D printed or 3D design last running figure. Of course, we have a Scratch and Hotspot. Scratch and Hotspot are the first Ninja Turtles 3D printed customs that I made. I actually got my 3D printers so that I could make those because, as you know, they very expensive if you are looking for the original ones. So I decided to get ones. Now we have here the Shogun Triceratops. Again, this is a figure that I wanted, but it was very hard, very expensive to find. So I decided to make my own. The armor is a 3D design of mine, and I used an original Triceratops that I painted to look like the Shogun version. Now the ones that I finished more recently, the Slasher Turtles. These ones are based on a design of a guy that you can find online. His name is Dead by Toys. He make art toys. I made this on request by a client. So actually this set is going to this client's house. They all are articulated in vintage style. You know, swivel ball joints in the legs. I like to give ball joints to all my figures whenever it's possible. I know there are some guys that prefer to use magnets, but that doesn't feel to me, at least, like Ninja Turtles. This is like what you will expect of a Ninja Turtles, this kind of articulation. The four Slasher Turtles. Now this one is also one of the first that I made. This one is not 3D printed. This one is handmade. Robodon, of course, based on Robocop and Donatello. I really like this one. I'm planning on to replicating this as a 3D print so I can offer it also. Maybe make a line of sci-fi turtles. Now this one, of course, you can see it's based on the Super 7 design for the Ultimate line. I never liked it with the vintage figures. I know there's a lot of guys that are fans of this. I didn't like it, but when I saw the Ultimate version, I liked that one. And I do have Ultimate figures, but I wanted to have a vintage version. Maybe later I will get the Ultimate one, but for the time, I'm really happy with this one. Of course, this one I use a vintage wing nut. I sculpted the face, repainted. This is my April O'Neil. This is basically like a statue. I made it because I don't like the vintage April. I don't know. It doesn't look like April on the cartoon, even though the design is directly based on that. It doesn't look like comic April. So I decided to make one that looked better. Like he's out there and trying to get the news, get the story. This is a repaint. Of course, you may see, of course, it has some subtle differences from the original one. This is a 3D print that I painted on my own style. And last but not least, my movie shredder. We never got on a shredder on the vintage line for the first Ninja Turtles. We had the super shredder, but we didn't get a shredder from the movie. So this is the body is a foot soldier that I designed the knives, the armor. I 3D designed, 3D printed this one. So the body is a foot soldier, the knives or the armor are 3D printed, the face is 3D printed. You can remove, I love this. You can remove the mask to show his face with the scars. So these are the ones that I have right now. I have made others. I just don't have them at the moment. Most of the time I made them on orders when requested by my clients. So usually they don't stay with me very long. I do try to keep copies, but sometimes there is no time. We get so many orders, so I had to let ones that I want, the ones that I have in my collection. I kept the Forgotten Sur Raphaels because, as I said, they are prototypes. They have errors, but I have made a few that are not with me anymore. They're in their new homes. From this figure, the Slasher Turtles are going. The Universal Turtles are going, and the rest ones, I think they are mine at least at the time. Maybe later they will go find a new home with one of my clients, which is good. I like the fact that my figures are all around the world. I have guys in China, in Australia, in Europe, Russia that have my figures, and that is cool. I like to think that they enjoy their new home. So that is all for the moment. I will make another video when I have new figures to show. Thank you for watching.